and welcome back to Bookish Theories. In today's video, we'd like to talk about IVE's Either Way, focusing on a little breakdown of the lyrics and the music video to see what they can tell us about the concept and story of this track. Now, Either Way is a very touching song describing the struggles of a person in dealing with other people's judgment and opinions. Even if this is a problem that more or less all of us have to face in society, this theme is especially relevant when it comes to IVE's personal experiences. As one younger self explained, in fact, this is a song containing a story that is very relatable to her and the other members, and right off the bat, this is not really surprising. Despite of their success, the girls can never catch a break. They get constantly criticized for how they look, what they do, how they do it, and while some might say that this is just part of their job, it doesn't make it any less difficult to accept. Either Way is a song that explores this delicate topic, not only by showing a more vulnerable side of the girls, but also by offering the perspective of the person being judged to the very people that judge them, which in this context is none other than the audience itself. As people scrutinize them, they all have different opinions, and in the lyrics they mention some that are very much inspired by the takes you see on social media. There's people who think they're full of themselves and like showing off. Others they are so kind to the point of being foolish. Some think they are too childish for their age, while others think they are children who seem carefree but are actually very soft-hearted. Sometimes the girls cannot even understand the looks they get, and if they think about it too much, all this scrutiny feels unfair. The girls that people judge are versions of them that only exist in these people's minds. They are created by misunderstandings, different opinions, but at the end of the day, all of these versions come to life and become IVE without the girls being able to do anything about it. According to the audience, they are both too arrogant and too kind. They like to show off, but somehow they're also too dumb to understand what they're doing. They're both too unbothered and too sensitive, not to mention they're too old to act childish, but also too young to act grown. All these things cannot possibly be true at once, and yet all of these versions of IVE exist in different people's minds. In the song, the girls wish to find a way for everybody to get along, but people draw differences between I and E, which actually refer to the introvert and extrovert aspects of the MBTI personality test. In the song, however, Eugene wishes to come together making a V, which is both a sign indicating peace, as well as the letter missing between I and E to make IVE complete. The point here is that while everybody is arguing about who they are, the girls would just like to exist peacefully as IVE and get along with everybody. As hurtful as this is, however, the song comes to the conclusion that this is not really possible. Whether they like it or not, they must accept that people will always have different opinions of them, because everybody is different and do what they do for different reasons. It's not really a matter of who is right and who is wrong. People live and think in different ways, so IVE, and all of us for that matter, must accept both the love and the hate with a smile on our face. Now in the video, this bittersweet concept is portrayed with an aesthetic and mysterious story of friendship and loneliness. As the first of three title tracks, Either Way was directed by Yu Kwang-gong, which incidentally is also the same guy that directed the Knife and Stark Blood trailer. At the beginning, the video opens with shots of outer space, which also appear in reverse right at the end. As we see in a second, this might actually have something to do with the lore itself, but on a more symbolical level, it might also be a reference to one of their past songs. Back in IM, they say that their life was a beautiful galaxy, so opening the video with a shot of that might imply that Either Way is essentially telling us the story of their life. When we come back to Earth, we see a bus leaving a parking lot, and inside of the building we find Wonyoung in what looks like a drama classroom. She's alone, but when she looks at herself in the mirror, her reflection actually looks like Ray. From Ray we then cut to Iso, and when we're shown the room once again, she's the one standing up instead of Wonyoung. Now this visual technique is meant to give us the idea that in the video the girls are like one, in the sense that all of them are going through the same journey at the same time. While they're also surrounded by bright objects, wear colorful wigs, and have fun makeup on, that brightness is dulled by the sadness they feel. There is a duality in the visuals, and this duality continues throughout the video as a whole. The beautiful glitter that covers them, for instance, is in contrast with the emotional bruises it represents. The sparkling colorful makeup looks like tears falling down their face, and the fresh flowers wither as soon as they experience their struggles. The more glamorous version of IVE is put side to side with a more vulnerable version of them, and like in reality, these two sides coexist in the same people. Even if they're good either way, that doesn't mean that sometimes they don't struggle, so the video shows both sides, that is, them being good and them being less good while dealing with hurtful people. When we cut back to Wonyoung, she's now outside of the building and in the parking lot. As we already saw at the beginning, she lost the bus, so she decides to walk home by herself. Now if we see this video as a symbolical story of their life, this scene might actually represent the moment they decide to pursue their own path. Now she's out of school, she's in the real world, and since the bus left without her, she now decides to find their own way home. In the next scene, in fact, we see the girls moving into a new place. All of them are wearing the same hoodie, so once again this is an indication that they're all kinda portraying the same journey. Them moving in by themselves might symbolize the moment they decide to become idols and pursue their dreams, but in the context of the song it might also have another meaning. In this scene, the girls cry because they're overwhelmed by the baggage they're carrying with them. They're by themselves, nobody's helping them, so they suffer because the weight is too heavy for them to bear alone. As we see in the video, it's only when they're with each other that the girls find happiness, because that is the moment they're good either way. Sharing moments together brings them back to a more playful time where they were free to do whatever they wanted, so towards the end we see So sneaking in the drama club to relive those happy moments. Even if she and the others are alone in there, make-believe gives them a moment of happiness, which might also explain why they woke up in that room right at the beginning. In the final scene we eventually reunite with Wonyoung, who is still on the road but now has blonde hair. The fact that she's still walking might imply that their journey is not over yet, while the sudden hair change might symbolize her gradual transformation into an idol. In a life journey she left to pursue her path, walked her walk, struggled and overcame, and even now that she's living her dream, she still has a long way to go before the end. As I mentioned before, this concept obviously applies to the other members just as much as it applies to Wonyoung, but right before the video cuts back to outer space, she suddenly raises a finger to summon a small sphere that looks like a planet. Now this not only implies that there's something supernatural going on, but also that the story might be far from over. As we know, Either Way is the first of 3 title tracks, with the next release being the song called Off the Record. If we take a look at the poster, we can see a cupid right in the middle of it, and this might actually imply that the concept might be connected to the story first introduced in Love Dive. Back in that song, the girls played the role of 6 cupids who lived in a mansion in the sky, and while their main goal was to make Dive fall in love with them, like Narcissus, even they were not immune to their own charm. In the Japanese version of 11, this divine concept continued by showing the girls as goddesses still living in the sky, but in a surprising turn of events, Kitsch began with the girls announcing that they were different and their wings going up in flames. Even if at this point the girls still had the powers of a cupid, the song presented Dive as having a more rebellious side, and in IM the girls embraced this side and decided to become writers of their own story. They decided to take control of their life, so the video showed us the girls falling to earth on their way to success. Now in either way, the girls are obviously going through it in the video, but here and there some clues imply that they might be literally out of this world. For one, we have the shots from outer space, possibly indicating their place of origin. Then we see a heart-shaped lining behind Wonyoung, which could imply that they are still cupids spreading love. And last but not least, we obviously have the little planet, which in itself confirms that they still have powers. If Off the Record will continue the cupid concept, maybe we'll know more about their story and abilities, but for now we'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, however, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please think about liking and subscribing. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye bye!